All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to now get into talking about the Eagles-Jaguars game. The Eagles picking up the win, 28-23. So we'll get into the specifics for that. And look, I still don't trust them. Now they're still winning games. I still think this is a good team, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them right now. Because this game, it looked like it was going to be a blowout. They were up 22-0, and they started to let the Jaguars back into this game. The Jags started chipping away at the lead. Now the Eagles are just, they have more talent. They are the better team here. So obviously, they were able to hang on, but that's not going to fly if you're playing against some of these better teams in your conference. But yeah, so they got the ball. Well, they punted, but then there was a muff punt. They recovered it, and that immediately led to a Jalen Hurts to Saquon Barkley touchdown from 20 yards out. Barkley, of course, had a big game, and also, I got the – oh, actually, no, this is of Jalen Hurts. But Barkley had that play in the game where, juked a couple of guys and then did a backwards hurdle, which was unbelievable. And, of course, more people talk about, oh, the Giants let him go. They were silly for doing that. Look, Saquon Barkley would not be having the season that he's having right now if he was with the Giants. He just wouldn't be. And honestly, for me, at this point, I'm happy that he's doing well. I am. Even though he's with the Eagles. So, we could just put that to bed. So, yeah, it was 7-0 Eagles on after the Barkley touchdown. More punts. It was 10-0 then. Eagles put together almost a 9-minute drive. And Jake Elliott kicked a 43-yard field goal. So that made it 10-0. Go to the second quarter. Both teams turned it over on downs. The Eagles went for it on 4th and 3 from the Jacksonville 22. They didn't get it. A.J.Brown actually left this game with an injury. So we'll see, what his status is going forward. Both teams then punted again. Trevor Lawrence threw a pick, and that resulted in another touchdown by the Eagles. Barkley scored from 19 yards out. So, yeah, so that made it 16-0. Then it was 22-0 because then the Eagles, in their first possession of the second half, Hurts scored a 18-yard rushing touchdown. But then the Jags answered. They scored a touchdown to get on the board. Trevor Lawrence scored a rushing touchdown. They went for 2, and they got it. Trevor Lawrence connected with Brian Thomas Jr. Then Saquon fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by Trayvon Walker. He returned it 35 yards for a touchdown, so that made it 22-16. Then the Eagles turned it over on downs. Jags punted. Then Hurts connects with Devontae Smith for a 25-yard touchdown. A great catch by Devontae Smith. He's a good receiver. He is a really good receiver. That's why I keep saying when it comes to the Eagles, they have a 1A and a 1B when it comes to their receiving core. So, yeah, that made it 28-16. And then the Jags put together another touchdown drive. Trevor Lawrence from 4 yards out scored. And that was all the scoring. The Eagles then ended up missing a field goal. Jake Elliott missed a 57-yarder, but then Trevor Lawrence threw a pick down near the goal line. So they had a chance to, go ahead, but they were not able to, and the Eagles ended up winning. Jalen Hurts went 18-24 for 230 yards. The Eagles ran the ball for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had 159 yards on the ground by Barkley, 67 yards on the ground by Hurts. So, yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns, over 200 yards rushing. Devontae Smith, 4 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Barkley had 3 for 40 and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 2 for 36. Like I said, left with an injury. Barkley lost a fumble in this game. 2 sacks by the Eagles defense. For the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 16-30, 169 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Travis Etienne, only 24 yards on the ground. Tank Bigsby, 22 yards on the ground. Evan Ingram was their leading receiver, 5 receptions for 45 yards. Parker Washington, 3 for 41. Jags defense, 3 sacks on the day. But, wasn't enough. They end up losing. They fall to 2-7 on the year. Eagles improved to 6-2. And they take on Dallas, and Dak Prescott will not be playing in that game. So I like the Eagles' chances to win there, get them to 7-2. But then they got some tough games. They got Washington, the Rams, the Ravens. So, we'll see how they do there. The Jaguars, I mean, this season it's been a major disappointment. It's been a major disappointment. And they've lost a lot of one-score games. I mean, they got blown out against the Bills and the Bears, but other than that, you lose that game to the Dolphins where you had the lead. You lost by 5 to the Browns. You lost by 4 to the Texans where, you were winning. The Packers game, you came back, but you fell short. You lose to the Eagles when you're trying to come back. You fall short there. They've been in a lot of their games. It's just, they're on the losing side. And, they look like they're not going anywhere. Yeah, shouldn't say that. We know this already. But it's just, there's going to be a lot of changes with the Jags. They do have some nice pieces on this team, and, Trevor Lawrence has definitely been a disappointment. But, I like Brian Thomas Jr. He looks like he's a stud. Tank Bigsby has looked good this year. So I don't know if they're going to keep ETN. There's definitely pieces to build off of. But it's just, they've been a disappointment. That's all you could say. But for the Eagles, I really don't trust them. Let's see how they look against some of these better teams. But, you almost let the Jags come back. You barely beat the Browns. It's just, I think right now their best player, and I keep saying it, is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, if they didn't have Barkley, I don't know if their record's going to be as good as it is right now. He has been a difference maker for this team. And it's going to continue. He got a little banged up. It had a back issue, but it doesn't seem like it's too serious. We'll see what happens with A.J.Brown. Because like I said, he got banged up. I could take a quick look and see if there's any updates on him. So right now he is questionable. Oh, he was okay. So he was limited. So Brown underwent an MRI that eventually revealed the issue to be a minor one that left him day to day. So that's where we're at. But he's limited, so maybe maybe he does end up playing on Sunday. If he's practicing, that means looks like he's on track to play. So, but who knows? But that would be a big loss. Because he's so important. The Eagles just have a lot of talent. The problem is everybody is saying they're winning in spite of their coach. And, if they make the playoffs and they finish with a good record, they maybe win the division because they still have a chance to do that. He's still going to be around, I think. Depending on what they do in the playoffs. So, but, look, they're 6-2. They are not a bad football team by any means, but it's just, I don't trust them when they're barely squeaking by some of these teams that they should be blowing out. They were blowing out the Jaguars and they let them come back in the game. What happened? Did they take the foot off the gas pedal? What's going on? But they still got the win. So, but now you got some better competition coming up. At least with this week, Dak Prescott's not playing. So, they should beat the Cowboys. Even with Dak playing, they should beat the Cowboys. But then it's that 3-game stretch between the Commanders, the Rams, and the Ravens. Show me, what you can do against those teams. This team has a lot of talent. But some of these wins are, not giving me confidence in this team. So, we'll see what happens, but let me know what you guys think about this game, what were your takeaways from it, and that pretty much brings us to the end of the show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tomorrow we will cover my picks. We'll go over, each game in the NFL. We'll take a look at the college football matchups for this weekend. So, typical Friday. Obviously, we got the game tonight, which is big. I'm going to be going back and forth on who I'm going to take with the spread pool. I do think the Ravens will win, but now it's a matter of how much do I think they're going to win by. And like I said earlier, I think with T. Higgins being out, that does make a big difference in this game. Because now the Ravens, they're going to be like, hey, beat us with somebody else. We're going to take Jamar Chase. We're going to try to limit Jamar Chase and his impact. So we'll see. But, should be a good game. It's always fun when those two teams play against each other, especially when you got both quarterbacks playing at a high level, because they both are. So we'll see. But, yeah, Week 10. The season is more than halfway over. And it's got to enjoy it between now and the end of the regular season, and then we get to the playoffs. So just got to enjoy it. In the college football season, that's going to be ending soon as well. And again, I keep saying it. I'm really looking forward to this new format and how it's going to play out. But, we still got a little bit till then, but it'll be here before we know it. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows. Give the other shows some love, like I always say. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and leave a like on the video. I will have this show broken down and posted or reposted into the 5 individual segments during the day. So make sure to look out for that in case you don't want to jump through the entire live stream again. And also make sure to check us out on wherever you get your podcasts so you can listen to us as well. But yeah, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day. Enjoy the game tonight, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.